Welcome back to Joyful Adventure Audits. If you're new here, hit subscribe. We're documenting Birmingham's lost, closed, abandoned, and repurposed pubs before they vanish completely. It's October 2025, and we're on Barnes Hill in Weoley Castle, right where it meets Alwold Road. But unlike some of our videos where we can still show you a building, here there's nothing left. This was the site of the California Inn, known locally as the Cali. Not only is the pub gone, but the area that gave it its name has a fascinating history involving brick making, gold rush legends, and even a tornado. Let's dig into it. So why California? There's a romantic legend that a local businessman named Isaac Flavell made his fortune in the California gold rush of 1848, came back to Birmingham, and named his pub after the place that made him rich. It's a good story, but it doesn't quite hold up. Records show that Flavell bought Stonehouse Farm and the surrounding land in 1842, 6 years before the gold rush began. He was already established in business at Gas Street Basin, and he bought the land for one reason: clay. This area was rich in clay deposits. Flavell set up a brickmaking business here, and the original California Inn was built on the east side of Barnes Hill, above the east portal of the La Paul Canal, which had opened in 1798. It was the perfect location: clay underfoot, canal transport nearby, and a growing city just down the road that needed bricks. Barnes Hill itself takes its name from John Barnes, a master brickmaker who founded some of the earliest brickworks in the area. Brickmaking dominated this landscape long before Flavell arrived. So where did the name California really come from? Maybe Flavell and his contemporaries were simply inspired by the gold rush stories sweeping Britain at the time. There was, after all, a kind of clay rush happening here, businessmen racing to claim land for brickmaking. As one historian put it, you could call it a clay rush. Whatever the real reason, the name stuck. By 1923, California was still described as a village of brickmakers. The last brickworks closed in the 1950s, but the name and the pub lived on. There were actually two California Inns over time. The original stood near the Dudley Canal and Stonehouse Brook, close to the old La Paul Tunnel. That first inn closed and was demolished in the 1930s. A new California Inn was then built further up Barnes Hill, right at the junction with Alwold Road, the spot I'm standing on now. A 1937 photo shows the new pub in Ansell's brewery colours, smart and modern for its day. Back then, this was still a semi-rural area. When the new pub opened, it was the sort of place people would drive out to on a weekend for a drink in the countryside. Locals remember one standout detail: an off-license entrance on the Alwold roadside with a tall brick pillar outside, topped by a massive plaster cornucopia of fruit, grapes the size of footballs, oranges the size of beach balls. Very 1930s, very optimistic. That pillar didn't survive forever. On Friday, June 28, 1968, a tornado swept through Weoley Castle. The fruit pillar came down, roofs were ripped off shops opposite, street lamps were bent, and the storm carried on over the medieval Weoley Castle ruins and Paganel School. Thankfully, the children had just come in from afternoon break. For decades, the California Inn, the Cali, was at the heart of the local community. Families along Alwold Road and Barnes Hill made it their regular. One person remembered how, when their father passed away, the funeral procession made a slow drive past the pub, his final request. That's the kind of emotional pull these places had. The district is still called California by many locals, even though officially it's Weoley Castle. The pub gave the area its identity. By the 1980s and 90s, the pub was modernized and renamed Whispers in an attempt to draw a younger crowd. But for longtime regulars, it was still the Cali underneath. Eventually, like so many community pubs, it closed. The building was demolished in the 1990s, and the site was redeveloped as a 24-hour petrol station, which still operates today. The original pub site, further down Barnes Hill, is now roughly where the Asda car park entrance sits. Two pubs, both gone. Two pieces of community history, erased. Standing here in October 2025, there's no trace that a pub ever existed on this corner. The district name California survives, but few know why. The clay pits are long filled in, the brickwork's gone, and the laughter from the Cali's bar has faded into memory. But that's why we do this, to capture what's been lost before it's completely forgotten. If you remember the California Inn or Whispers, if you drank here, worked here, or have photos or stories, please share them in the comments. Email your old photos and we might feature them in a future video. We've got hundreds of Birmingham's lost pubs documented on our channel, all free to watch. Subscribe if you haven't already, and tell us which pub we should visit next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next lost pub if there's anything left to see.
Neon buzz like a heartbeat slow, a beacon in the Birmingham glow. Bar stools, worn stories etched in wood. We laughed like only neighbors could. But now it's silence where we begin. No more cheers at the California Inn. Tarmac stretches where the jukebox played, a memory lost where the pints were made. The dartboard hung by a crooked nail, secrets spilled with every ale. Jukebox crooned old country tunes, summer nights that ended too soon. Bricks and mortar can't hold a soul, but they held us together, made us whole. But now it's silence where we begin. No more cheers at the California Inn. Tarmac stretches where the jukebox played, a memory lost where the pines were made. They paved it over, said time to grow. What they planted, we'll never know.